Hi YouTube, Brian White here in my path to Paphos, and in this video I'm going to be telling you about the exploits of getting my first car over here. Well, before we go any further, just to remind you, I am not an expert on any of these things. I'm literally journaling my path to get over to living and surviving and working in Paphos as a permanent citizen over here. And there'll be things which I tell you in previous videos which I will get wrong, because this is part of my due diligence, my research that I'm doing, and I'm finding out an awful lot of things as I'm going, and I'm trying to pass these on so that if you're in the process of wanting to come out to this beautiful little paradise, then hopefully you might get something which will make it a little bit easier. I've asked lots of questions of lots of subjects online, and I do find that there's an awful lot of people will give you answers, some of which may be right, but the majority aren't. So let's have a look at my little journey towards getting a car. Now, if you look at some of my earlier videos, you'll find that I was planning on bringing a car over here. I planned it all out. We were going to be doing it for bringing the dogs over and all sorts of things, but things just really aren't cost effective to do that for us. If you look at Paul and Car's channel, I think it's called, it's Paul from Marika and Me. If you have a look for his channel about his exploits in car dealership and car maintenance, he did an excellent video about car taxation and surcharges which go on for taxation for UK cars. There are restrictions for bringing cars over if they're more than 5 years old, unless you are a first-time new resident, in which case you can bring a car over inside the first 12 months of your residency. However, it's a little bit more difficult than that, because you get surcharges. So if you bring something like that Merc ML that I've got at home, I think it's £725 a year for the road tax on it. Over here it would be around about the same in euros. However, there's a loading goes on, and it would take it up to about 1,400 euros per year, which is just unsustainable and unmanageable. So I decided I was going to not bring a car over after all. I've done a lot of research on here, and I was going to buy a car, and I don't need such a big car. I love my Merc, I love the whole thing of the big car, the big 4x4, but in reality I wanted a smaller car, especially at the moment, because I need to be getting some work, and to get the singing entertainment work that I need transport. Now, the last couple of times I've been across here, in March and when I first got here to actually live, I hired a Nissan Note. Both of them are 2019 cars, and I've never really been into Nissans before, but I found them a really comfortable car with lots of space in for me, because I'm a big guy. And I did think myself, well, I'll give it a go. So I've been having a look at Nissan Notes. Now, I went through a few dealers I decided I was going to buy from a dealer, because there are quite a few little bits and pieces towards registration and tax and things. You need to know where to go, you need to know how to do it. Once I've been over here for a while, I'll probably be able to do it myself, but at the moment I've got so much on with getting the house sorted out, with getting work sorted out and residencies, that a car is just another one of those things that I needed sorted. So I decided I wasn't going to buy too new a car, but I wanted something which was reasonable and reliable. And the good thing about Cyprus is that cars generally don't rust too much. It's not one of those atmospheres where they rust. You don't get salted roads. And I decided I was going to get myself a small car which would be reasonable. So one of the beauties over here is a lot of the Japanese cars, you can easily get parts. So I decided, I like the Nissan Note, I was going to look out for one. I went to a few dealers, and you know, there's some looked really good. Some had that, you know, the feel that you get when you're not totally convinced that you want to do any business with them. Yeah, you know what I mean. Well, I had a couple like that, but most of them were really good. But eventually, partly because of my own looking around, but also partly because Sue had found it on the internet, SC Motors, and I'm not being sponsored by them, I'm not having discounts from them and that, but in Clorica. And they had the ideal car for me, a 2014 plate, let's see what size, 1200cc Nissan Note automatic. Now, don't flinch at automatics. A lot of the Brits will be flinching, oh, I don't like automatics, I like to be in control. Over here, almost every car is an automatic. It's the manuals are few and far between, unless they are the big sort of off-road 4x4s and things, that the pickups and things. So most cars over here are automatic, and they suit the landscape really well. They suit the driving style really well. So automatic is what I wanted. and I had a look around and I found this particular one, decided to make them an offer on it. So the car was €7,500. Now, if you look up Nissan Notes, 2014 Nissan Notes in the UK, you'll find they're going for about £3,500, probably tops. Certainly some less than that. Second-hand cars over here do hold their value extremely well. I mean, extremely well. So don't be surprised if a car is going to be twice as expensive over here. But €7,500 was about about £6,400, something like that. Went in, had a look around the car, went out for a test drive on it, and give it the deal. Yes, I said okay, I'll take that one. Give them €500 €500 deposit, not £500, €500 deposit, and they said they have the car ready in a couple of days. So what they've done is they've given the car a full service. They've done a full 2-year MOT, because MOTs over here are 2 years apart, not 1 year like in the UK. So a 2-year MOT. But also taxing the car. Tax is done from the 1st of January each year, so the car is done on that. There's 1st of January, of course, is a holiday in Cyprus. So how on earth do you tax your car? Well, a lot of it's done online, but also the thing is that it seems to have, you've got a settling period, if you like. It doesn't have to be spot on that date. So by going to a dealer, he did all that. He registered the car, got the car plated up and things. So the car was registered with the Motor Transport Department, and I went in this afternoon and got it. The hard part was trying to pay for it, or what I thought was going to be the hard part. So I've got a whole load of stuff here. I've got things like the tax disc. Ooh, by the way, tax on a Nissan Note over here is €42. So very inexpensive. It's not bad at all. All I had to do was, on top of that, was to get the car insurance done. And if you have a no claims bonus in the UK, you can actually transfer it across to here. So I've got 19 years no claims bonus in the UK. That 19 years has been accepted here as a full no claims. The dealer put me in touch with an insurance company, a separate insurance company, very happy with. So that was all done and dusted. Got a cover note ready for that. It's mainly being done just on WhatsApp and telephone. And I went up for the car this afternoon. Now, what I did have a bit of hassle of was trying to get an international money order, because I had €7,000 left to pay. I'd paid €500 deposit, so I had €7,000 left to pay, which is about £6,000. And I was thinking to myself, well, how am I going to do this? So we have a savings. This was coming out of my wife's savings account with the local building society, the Cumberland Building Society. And I've got a business account with them as well, and a debit card with them for my business. So Sue had to get the money transferred into my business. So I had €6,000 sitting, well, £6,000, €7,000 sitting in my bank account, and I'd phoned up the Cumberland. They were really helpful, but they gave me some forms. They emailed me some forms across, which I had to get filled in for all the international codes, the BIC codes and everything else like that, to do an international transfer. I went in today to find that the car was ready. I spoke to the insurance broker who issued the cover note. So I talked to the dealer and basically said, money will be coming across today. I sent the form over to the Cumberland for the international money transfer, and then I thought, well, I'll just phone them up and see what the score is on this to make sure that it is filled in correctly. There's no good going back to the house here and find that everything had been filled in incorrectly. So I did that, got to the point of talking to them over there, and their systems have a fault. Their systems are down, and the payment wouldn't go through today on that international money transfer. So I was a little bit despondent at this. I said, okay, we'll get it done for tomorrow, but just make sure the forms are done right. And she said, well, are you buying the car from a private individual or a company? I said, well, a company. She says, do they have a card machine? I said, yes. She said, why don't you pay it on your card? So I said, can I pay for a car on my company credit card? She said, yeah, got a debit card. Yeah, yes, you can. There's no problem up to £10,000. So £10,000. The car is going to be about £6,000, €7,000. So with her still on the phone, I went back into the dealers. We tried it on the card, put the card in because it wouldn't do with a touch. So put the card in, put my number in. Hey presto, within seconds it was done. So the money transfer was done on a debit card. It was the easiest process going. So if you are looking for buying a car over here, you can do it yourself, but to be honest, until I look into it, I've got no idea what is entailed in getting it registered and taxed and MOT'd and serviced and all those sort of things. But going to a dealer, there seem to be some really good dealers over here, and from my point of view, it was a very, very straightforward, easy thing. They even brought the car down to where I live, and I took them back up in my hire car to get them back there. So they even delivered the car to the door. So if you are interested in getting a car, please consider that. Now, thanks very much for watching this video. I really do appreciate you watching these videos. You've got no idea. And thanks very much to everybody who's seeing me as I'm walking around the place. I'm starting to take names of people so that I can actually show them some due respect on here. But it's really getting enjoyable when people are seeing me in the street in Paphos or Clorica or anywhere like that. So if you do see me wandering around, please say hello, give me a thumbs up. I'd love to see you. If you would like to support this channel, it is a very early channel and it is some of my income coming into Cyprus, so anything is appreciated. If you would like to do that, if you buy me a coffee link in the thing before, so it's buymeacoffee.com/Brian James, and the B and the J are capitalised, and there should be something along the bottom saying that now. So if you'd like to buy me a coffee, then please do so. Everything is really appreciated and it does help the channel to keep on going. Anyway, if there's any questions you've got about this, leave them in the comments below. I'd love to read I always really love to read the comments below. And that's the same for any of my videos. If you watch my videos, leave me a comment. I'd love to try and do it. I don't claim to be an expert, but if I've come across the right answer, I will happily try and help you get to the right answer too. Anyway, till the next time, this is Brian White saying, see you in Paphos. Bye-bye.